think that's why it had a reaction. Donald Trump, he, for whatever you think about him, if you like him, if you hate him, he is certainly who he is. He's shown us who he is every single day.
Yeah, which is a fascist. And it's crazy because you still don't have news networks having that conversation. Yeah. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions Kamala Harris's blackness or is he a DEI hire, y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking, is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion on networks like CNN every day?
This country where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I was looking up some comments about my grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
and I'm like,
your job.
You misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, and no disrespect, what they do is, they're very talented, but I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid blow-dried anchors think, and I include myself in that overpaid blow-dried, although I don't blow-dry. I am overpaid, but I'm not interested in the anchor's opinion. I'm interested in facts and letting the viewers make up their own mind. So anyway, I'm sorry this devolved into something else.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about what I would characterize as probably one of the most delusional conversations that I've ever heard on mainstream liberal media. Okay, and I think conversations like this are a prime example of what I was talking about earlier today when I talked about Van Jones and The View getting upset with the fact that Kamala Harris is, according to them, being held to a higher standard than Trump, right? Because in their minds, they want to believe that the Democrat, all they have to do is to say, but Trump, not be Trump, and that's enough, right? That's it. It doesn't matter. Trump is so bad that it doesn't matter what Kamala Harris believes. It doesn't matter what she says. It doesn't matter what she does. It doesn't matter her track record. It doesn't matter her policies. None of these things matter because Trump bad, okay? And these individuals are very, very, very disconnected from reality and how that is not going to win the election for Kamala Harris because Trump had a much better presidency than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, okay? And you're never going to win with but Trump when Trump had a much better track record, right? His policies are actually better than the Biden-Harris administration and the Democrats, okay? But again, that doesn't stop individuals, like, for example, Charlamagne the God, from going on national television and pretending as if CNN is not being Trump deranged enough, okay? He's going to go off on Anderson Cooper, who did a pretty good job at exposing Kamala Harris last night during the town hall. He's going to go off on Anderson Cooper because he feels like CNN spends too much time talking about Kamala Harris and not enough time talking about Trump, which, again, is just hard to believe that you have an individual who actually believes that the media is not being Trump deranged enough. They're not talking about Trump enough, and they're talking about Kamala Harris too much. But then again, this is Charlamagne the Devil, okay, who is extremely Trump deranged, so Trump deranged that he apparently sent Trump a cease and desist letter over a campaign ad in which Trump used Charlamagne's reaction to an ad that Trump had put out in which he talked about Kamala Harris supporting transgender surgeries for illegal immigrants, and Charlamagne saying that, hey, that's effective, okay, because like most people, you'd be shocked to see the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs positions that Kamala Harris has held over the years. So, again, no surprises that Charlamagne the God is Trump deranged, but it is entertaining to see the left-wing propagandists kind of turn on themselves over whether or not they are talking about Trump enough. So, let's get into it.
Apparently Trump's is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares.
And
like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Anderson Cooper is trying to have an actual real political discussion about whether or not Kamala Harris should go on Joe Rogan and whether or not that will help out her failing campaign. Now, I'm not sure if that will help out her failing campaign, but I know one thing that's not going to help out her failing campaign is this suggestion from Charlamagne the Devil, which is for Kamala to continue to call Trump a fascist, right? If Kamala wants to keep calling Trump a fascist, I support that in the sense that it's not going to help her win, right? I mean, it's not going to move the needle. This is the same strategy that Hillary Clinton tried to use against Trump in the closing weeks leading into the election, right? Let's just go full-blown Trump derangement and let's see if that works. It's not going to work. And the reason why it's not going to work is because all the things that Charlamagne the God is fear-mongering about did not happen. It didn't happen under his first term. And it's not going to happen under his second term. Now, I do hope that mass deportations happen under his second term, right? I do hope that happens. But outside of that, all these other things are things that the American people know is not going to happen. These are things that Democrats have fear-mongered about before. Again, they didn't happen. So that's why nobody cares, right? Nobody cares because everybody knows that the fear-mongering is not grounded in reality. Furthermore, I find it interesting that Charlamagne the God is arguing that nobody cares and that nobody's talking about this enough. The media is not talking about it enough, which is his main argument here. When this guy is straight up using talking points from the media, right? Because if he wasn't watching the media, if he wasn't getting these talking points from the media, he wouldn't be saying them because only somebody that's brainwashed, drunk on MSNBC and CNN would be saying these things in the first place, right? You have to be watching MSNBC and CNN to believe what Charlamagne the God believes. Because if you're an independent thinker, if you've done your own research, if you actually listen to the things that Trump has said, you would not come to these conclusions that Charlamagne the God is coming to, right? Again, that's the irony here, okay?
Give the damn.
Well, I mean, I think you give damn who's elected president, and
yeah,
I'm asking
if that
you.
president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Yeah. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people.
Well, we talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been talking about this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about, Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black,
I've seen that. I've seen those roundtable discussions a lot. That's
true.
Bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
I'm not saying you. I said the
Not you.
network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, is she black?
Wow. I hate the fact that Charlamagne is so Trump deranged and so delusional. He's making me defend CNN. But CNN is in fact not having more conversations about Kamala Harris's blackness, which they should be, considering the groundbreaking research that Candace Owens has done into Kamala Harris's family history and background, right? I think there's a whole lot of questions about that, again, I think that CNN should be asking questions about, but sadly, they're actually not, right? They're not doing that, although they should be. And they are, in fact, talking about whether or not Trump is a fascist and calling him a fascist 24/7, okay? What Charlamagne the God is saying is just clearly not grounded in reality at all, okay? And again, I hate the fact that I have to defend CNN, okay? And to verify, yes, CNN is, in fact, Trump deranged 24/7. Charlamagne the God has no clue what he's talking about, right? Charlamagne, I don't understand why they continue to invite this individual on these networks to talk about politics as if he has any clue what he's talking about. He's not a good representative of the black community and what black people think. He's just a representation of what the average Trump deranged leftist thinks, and that's it, right? Nothing more, nothing less. Why is this man platformed on CNN and major networks? Because his opinion is irrelevant, right? It's totally irrelevant.
Y'all have never
It's
had
definitely, it's
I
definitely
mean, we have
been,
had, look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who
Yeah.
somewhere on some panel have said something, but
Yeah.
I will just
But
speak
even-
up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I
But
don't like
is-
are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
Yeah, and if that's true, Anderson, then you should not have Charlamagne on the platform, right? And you probably shouldn't have Angela Ree on the platform either, right? If that's what you believe, if that's your rule, okay, then yeah, these two individuals should never be allowed on this network again. I'm so serious.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president. But it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I mean, I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't
with
think it's
you.
about validating. What you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying that we're not, that I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out and talking to, what John Kelly, I mean.
Yeah, so what Anderson is saying here is that, hey, I'm not a Trump fan, and there are no Trump supporters who are tuning in to watch me because I'm out here defending Trump or because I am not big Trump deranged on a daily basis, right? Because he most certainly is, okay? All of these so-called journalists are Trump deranged on a daily basis, and the fact that Charlamagne the God with a straight face really believes that these networks, including MSNBC, aren't talking about Trump enough. Again, it shows you why he just shouldn't be invited on these networks. Why is it that this guy continues to get platformed as if his opinion means anything? His opinion is not grounded in reality, okay? His opinion is no more credible than the average person that you meet on the street because he doesn't know a damn thing. Because if he actually consumed the news, he would know that what he's saying is just dumb, right? It's just ridiculous. Considering how the latest smear against Trump, in which they're talking about Trump being a fascist, comes from a source that is not backed up by any evidence. There's no real proof or anything like that to suggest that Trump actually said it. It's he said, she said. Again, as journalists, they shouldn't even be pushing this, but they're pushing it anyways because they want to sway the outcome of the election against Trump. But for whatever reason, Charlamagne the God thinks that's not enough, right? That's not enough. It's not enough. You're not talking about Trump being a fascist enough. But hey, I'm just saying, if this is what the Democrats want to do, if this is what the media wants to do, if they want to continue to talk about Trump being a fascist until election day, be my guest. I hope that's what they do. I hope that's what they do. Because that's going to be a guaranteed way for Trump to win. These people do not understand. They do not understand the concept that Trump bad is not enough. Trump bad is not grounded in reality. Trump is not bad. Trump was good. Trump is better than Kamala and Joe Biden. And it doesn't matter whether you talk about policy, whether you talk about character, whether you talk about intangibles, whether you talk about rhetoric. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Trump is head and heels above Kamala and Joe Biden, and most of the country knows that, and that's why he's winning. So again, if your whole thing is let's not hold Kamala to any standards, okay, she shouldn't have to do any interviews. We shouldn't worry about anything that she says. She shouldn't answer any questions. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to go with in the last 2 weeks before the election and just go full-blown Trump deranged, which is something they've been doing for the past 8 years, be my guest, right? I'll be the first person to tell you that I support that, right? I support it, okay? Because basically you're just helping Trump win, okay? So listen to people like Charlamagne the God, Anderson. You're not being Trump deranged enough. Keep talking about how he's a fascist as if that's going to move the needle. Yeah, just keep doing it. Keep doing it. And let's just see how that works out, right? Let's see how that works out going into this election. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.